Waiting for live to start. So cute already, right off the bat. Got my cough up in here. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our mid-year review live. Thank you so much for bearing with me and the postponement from yesterday's live training. I definitely woke up and was like, not feeling 100% better, but one thing about me is that I am in like my I choose me era. I'm just in like doing what I want to be doing. And so I was like, I could definitely sleep in the rest of the day and write off the whole day and the training itself. But I was like, no, this training is so good. Like, I'm so excited for my gals to be able to take it. So I was like, whatever. We're still a little bit nasally. If you see over here, I've got my emergency drink. And like over to stage right, I have my like Kleenex with me, so definitely still have a little bit of a cold, but I'm definitely not going to be put out by doing a live with my gals and being able to sit here and chat about what the heck we're all up to for the next 6 months and holding each other accountable so that we're all achieving like really amazing things by the end of 2023. If you're here, let me know in the comment section who's here with us, where are you from. Facebook doesn't let me see who's on live unless you comment, so I won't know if you're here, but go ahead, give us a comment, let us know that you're here and that you're excited for the mid-year review live. This will be up afterwards too, ladies, so no stress on the time. Like I said, we had to postpone it, and that's just what it is. And the biggest thing that I thought yesterday was like, how am I going to be an example to these women about like it's okay to choose you and to rest and not have to like bulldoze through everything if I'm just like trying to bulldoze through this sickness that is just sprung upon me. And literally I was standing in my room and I was like, it's really cold in here. So I put on sweatpants and a sweatshirt. And then it was still too cold, so I took off the sweatshirt, I put a shirt, and then my sweatshirt, and then I was like, my neck is really cold, and we just moved right a couple weeks ago, so I was like, where did I put the, oh, this is so funny, I see comments coming in, but I can't see the comments. That is so odd. Maybe it'll fix itself, because I see people are commenting, but it's saying no comments yet, but maybe it'll come in afterwards, but so we moved, and I was like, well, where did I put like the scarves and stuff when we moved? And luckily I found one. And then I'm standing in front of my mirror and I have a sweatpants, a sweatshirt, my scarf on, and my training was in like an hour and a half. And I was like, Maria, we're not doing this training today. Like, girl, you gotta go and get some rest or something. But we're here today. I'm happy to have you all on. Still keep commenting. I'm sure that the comments will show up afterwards. And this is just really great way for you to be like a live participant in this and for you to get the most out of it and just be really engaged. One thing that I really see shifting in this community, I know I love to post a lot, but I really want to see more engagement and interaction between all of you, like being able to share your wins for the week, share your journey and different things that you're going on inside Confident Queens United, especially when it comes to pageant prep and different things, because we have such an amazing group of women here. We're over 200, I believe we're at 210 women from around the world who are all very ambitious and who are wanting to build their confidence so that you can achieve not only your community and pageant goals, but just like your own personal goals in life. So I want to see more engagement and interaction on the Confident Queens United feed as well, and I'm going to be creating something soon so that you will know exactly how you can do that and make the most of this space that you're in. I think community is a huge thing that has been lacked in the pageant industry, and I definitely want to bring that back, not only through the Confidently Connected campaign, through trainings like this, but also just through creating a really safe and positive environment for all of you. So this is amazing. I know we've got 4 on live, and I'm so happy to have you all here. And again, if you're team replay, comment team replay in the comment section. But let's get into this. So you know me, I love goal setting, and I love like reviewing our progress towards our goals. And so I heard a quote recently that Tony Robbins said that was like, success without fulfillment is failure, is the ultimate failure. And it's because if we're always just achieving these things and moving on to the next thing, but never really like sitting in the gratitude for the journey and the progress that we've made, we're never truly going to be satisfied. And I see a lot of women do this in pageantry as well, where it's always just like the next thing, the next thing, or oh, I didn't win this one, on to the next one. And we really forget to like have success and fulfillment in the moment. And so that's why I think it's really important, whether or not you've hit your goals, if you set goals even, to always be reviewing your progress and celebrating where you're at on your journey, because there's never an end goal. right? Once you reach the thing that you thought you wanted all this time, you get it, and then you're immediately like dissatisfied. You're like, okay, this was great, now on to the next thing, you know? So it's always really important to be reviewing and expressing like our gratitude for what we are achieving. And so if you had a word for 2023, like a theme that you were really wanting to step into, I want you to drop it in the comment section below. What was your word for 2023? Some people will do like phrases for 2023. We're going to power through with our emergency. So what was your theme for 2023? The year, if you didn't set a theme, that's totally okay. It's not required. I like to set themes for my year just so I have like a really clear intention. And in the past, my themes have looked like taking a leap of faith, expansion and going bigger, trusting myself more, those different types of things. And so this year, my word for 2023 was liberation. And so to me, liberation meant like total freedom, with time, money, energy, experiences, and all of those things. And so even before we go into our mid-year review training, I want to share something completely honest with you all. The first 2 to 3 months of 2023 were anything but liberating. And I kind of wish I would have shared this a little bit more back then, like in the first couple months of the year, because I was like on such a high entering the year. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like I am working so much. Like I was straight up like done with my energy. I was like, I don't know how the heck I'm going to reach this like liberated state because I'm exhausted. So I was working full time in nursing and I was doing a lot with my coaching business. Like pageant coaching really took off for me this year and I'm so grateful for that with the women I got to support and serve. But I was like having no Maria time. It was all work, no play, no freedom, no fun. And it was right before we went on the cruise that we went on where Carlos had proposed in March. So it was the day, we were supposed to leave on the day of my birthday, and then the cruise was the day after my birthday. And then on the day before my birthday, so March 3rd, we were staying up till like midnight, right, to celebrate my birthday. Then we were gonna hop on a plane the next day. And then we looked and the flight was canceled because there was like this terrible snowstorm happening here. And so we like panicked. Luckily we were awake, booked ourselves on the next flight the day after my birthday, so that we would leave the morning of the cruise and get there and be able to go on. And thankfully everything worked out. But like that whole day of my birthday, I was like, we're not gonna make it. Like there's so many crazy flight delays and we had like such a small window of time to get from one flight to the next. I was like, we're not gonna make it. And it really didn't like distress me about like the money or anything like that. I was like, we could make it to Florida and like have a good vacation or whatever. But I remember saying to Carlos, and it almost like broke my spirit to say this, but I was like, I feel like I need this vacation. I was like, if I don't get on this vacation and get some freaking like peace and relaxation, I don't know how long I can keep doing this for. And that was such, like I said, it was such like a disheartening thing to mention that I had really just been like pushing myself to the end, and that if I didn't get this like 1 week break, that I was going to break myself essentially. And so luckily we made it to the cruise, but I remember having like just honest, open thinking time throughout that whole vacation and really asking myself like, what am I doing and who am I doing this for and what do I really want? And I'm so grateful. Oh, okay, just making sure my screen's good. And so I was like, I'm so grateful that Carlos had proposed. Like that was really like a huge thing about this trip. But I feel like that proposal and that trip really changed everything in my mindset. And I've made so many shifts over the last couple of months that my life is unrecognizable from 3 months ago. Like unrecognizable. Comment in the comment section if you want your life to be unrecognizable 6 months from now. And I know it's so hard to imagine that, you know, just in 3 or 6 months that your life could be in a completely different place, but I promise you it is possible. And it's totally possible for you. It's making me really sad that I can't see the comments, but okay, now I can see them. I see Hawaii, excited to be here. Hanya's here, Caitlin's here. Oh my goodness, I don't know what we changed. Rena's here. Thank goodness we got people here. Yes, Leah's here. Amazing. I can see the comments now. I clicked a button and that was so much better. Yeah, and I see the theme was a new era of Caitlin. Yes, I want to be unrecognizable. Yes, let's elevate. Okay, so much better. I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this training if I see people commenting and not being able to comment back. So um, long story short, I started making a lot of shifts right after we came back from the cruise. And it was literally like, these were some really like tough conversations I was having with myself, with Carlos, with my family, just to like really discover what is it that we really want and what is it that we're working towards. Because I don't want to be in this like habitual state of always having to work for whatever's coming next, but never actually feeling like I'm enjoying the moment. That's not something I believe we have to do. And I know it's a huge like thing in society where you just have to work, and then once you get to like X destination, then you can relax. And that was what I was pretty much doing until the point where I realized I can't do this anymore. And if I'm going to be, you know, a homemaker, a wife, a mom, I don't want to be burning myself at both ends and then I can't do anything that I love. And so some of the goals and intentions I had set for myself in 2023, and maybe you're starting to think about some of the things that you set for yourself, but I wanted to be full-time in my pageant coaching business. Like I said, I wanted more freedom and play. I wanted to have a more consistent health routine because hello, working 24/7, like the first thing that goes is like going to the gym and like meal prepping. We wanted a house. I was looking to really like call in higher level clients and more aligned client experiences, both with like the clients I was working with and the offers I was putting out, because I felt like in 2022, we just had some, you know, interesting experiences. I'm not going to say that they were bad, but I was very clear that I was working with certain people that I didn't want to be working with, and I wanted to move past that. I wanted to create like my dream business, and I wanted to support women who actually wanted to be leaders in their community and who weren't just putting on this like fake it till you make it aspect and then ghosting like right after the competition. Like I really wanted to work with genuine women who want to be leaders in their life and make an impact in their community. And then part of my business, I wanted to have better like systems on the back end for taxes, for accounting, bookkeeping, all of those fun stuff, right? And then being in more service. So I actually was already thinking last year that I wanted to compete in another pageant and that I wanted to reignite my service. Because again, I'm working literally 24/7. The last thing that I had time for was volunteerism. Like I would volunteer occasionally with the group I'm with, but it really got away from me. And the heartbreaking thing is like, that's what I got into pageantry for, to discover myself, to be involved in service. And it was like, what, just because I'm done pageants, I no longer care about service? Like, of course I care about service. And so long story short, all of these changes, which have now led to us planning a wedding, moving into this new place. I don't quite have my office decorated or anything like that, but that's coming. And leading into what is the big announcement that I've been sharing on my social media, that it's like a huge leap. And I even posted on here that I was going to be making this move. So one thing that I've noticed recently that I've been saying to myself, and I want you to notice if you tell yourself this, was that I kept saying like, okay, well, if this happens, then I'm going to do this. And I'll give you some like concrete examples. So for my Confidently Connected Sash campaign, which we officially have 2 lovely ladies who have signed and many more coming, I kept saying to myself, like, when I figure out how to get this in the media, then I'm going to launch it. Because I wanted it to be so big that I was like stopping it from being anything at all, because I wanted to like figure out how to get like PR and media outlets. And eventually I was like, Maria, you're making it nothing. For like months I put off the launch of the Confidently Connected campaign because of this like theory in my mind that I needed to wait to get media involved. And I was like, media's gonna get involved because you launch it and because it's amazing and an epic mission that you're starting and women are gonna be a part of it. Like, why are you not starting this? So just again, kind of seeing how I was like in my own way. And then the second way that this was showing up in my life was deciding to compete in a pageant. And I talked to a lot of my friends about this. Like, I do okay with secrets, but like I'm a pretty open book for the most part. And so I was telling them like, I want to compete in this pageant, I'm thinking about this one, but I don't want to compete against clients who I'm currently working with, just because like I want to support them, and that's just like my own personal thing. But then what I started noticing was that the competitions I wanted to compete in, I'd start seeing not just like one client enter, but like a bunch of my clients were entering those competitions. And I was like, okay, well, we're never going to compete in a pageant if we constantly say, oh, well, I'm just going to wait. And then if like no one's competing in it, then I'll go. Because I'm like, yes, I might always like have somebody who I've worked with in the past be in a competition that I'm in. But like, does that mean that I'll win over them or that they'll win over me? And even more importantly, like, it literally doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. It was just this whole idea that like I was stopping myself from doing something that I wanted to do because of a thought I made up in my mind. So that was the second way I was stopping myself for doing something really big for me and my community, because I was like in this process of like, I'm gonna wait. And then the third thing, and that is leading to this like big announcement, is I was telling myself I was waiting to step away from nursing until I was reaching like a certain amount of consistent income in my business. And so it was a couple of weeks ago that I was working part-time, right? It was about in May that I went part-time in nursing from full-time. And I remember thinking like, okay, this is it. Like, I can do this. I'm going to keep doing this for as long as I can, because I do love my nursing job, but I'll have more time to do my business. But one thing about nursing, for those of you who know, is that you got to do nights, 12-hour night shifts. And I remember after the last, 2 months of doing the on and off night shifts, I was exhausted. I've taken pictures. I'll probably upload the pictures someday of like my eyes after a night shift, and just the dark, like it looks like I have two black eyes because it's so dark. And then on top of it, I was so exhausted throughout the week that I couldn't do the content and the pageant prep that I wanted to do. This could have probably just been like a whole live just on this, because we are like just about to get to the training, I promise. And so again, I had that honest conversation with me, because the truth is I could have left nursing 6 months ago and I would have been okay, and I would have trusted that I would have made it work. But it was me that was stopping myself from thinking I needed something like a tax process or a bookkeeper before doing that. And again, when I noticed like these three stories all coming together, holding me back, I was like, this is not who I am. I am not somebody who's going to hold myself back because of all of these like fears, is what it really is. I'm someone who creates my life. I am the creator, I am the decision maker, and I'm choosing my happiness, my health, and my freedom now. And that was when I sent you all the message in Confident Queens United. And as of July 14th, I'm going to be full-time in my coaching business. So that is incredibly scary on one end, but at the same time, I can hear the universe being like, girl, we've been waiting. Like, you've been ready, okay? Like, you've coddled yourself enough. Now it's time to really show the world what you've got. And so we're building an empire over here, and things are going to get freaking massive. And I'm so excited to share with you all the process that I use to set my goals each year, because already so much of what I said I wanted to achieve, like, I've achieved. When I look at my vision board, I'm like, oh, we probably could have like set some bigger goals, because most of everything has been accomplished. Like, when it comes to prioritizing my health and engagement, like, we live in a house now, just like the sisterhood, the business things, like a lot of it's been achieved. So even now I'm going to set more goals for the new year, for 2024, even before then, because for me, when you align your goal, your actions and the strategy that you have, and then the mindset and energy and identity of the person who has these things, like, you can truly achieve anything in such a short amount of time. And trust me, it's crazy that today I got to wake up, like, I think I got out of bed at like 10:30, and same thing tomorrow. Like, I don't have any pressure to wake up and like do work and just keep going and then like not have time to rest. Like, I have so much space to be able to take care of myself, to be able to take care of this cold and make myself soup and nap on the couch. And it's not just because I'm sick, it's because I've created this life where that gets to be my reality. And I want women to understand that we're always making choices and decisions every day, and your decisions, the ones that you make in the next 3 to 6 months, can leave you in a completely, like I said, unrecognizable, in a good way, place 6 months from now. But too many people are letting the fear dictate what they do or don't do, or letting these theories, just like I was letting them dictate what I was doing or not doing. And it's okay, but it's just realizing that it's just a choice. It doesn't make it a better choice to stay where you're at. It doesn't make it a better choice to make a different decision, but it's all just decisions and choices. And we're just always a different choice away from having a completely different life in reality. And I choose to believe that life is working in my favor. And if you want to believe that too, and you want to see how the heck I literally make life work for me, and I just think that the world is my playground, then follow along. We're getting into the good stuff. And I see congratulations. Thank you, ladies. I'm so excited. That means that we're going to have a lot more like pageant gal, like different events and things happening. Yeah, fear is always the biggest threat to your potential. Congratulations. Thank you. Taking a leap, amazing. Yeah, I'm so excited. And to be an example to all of you of what is possible, because this was another thing I was seeing in my clients' lives. I was seeing them hold themselves back. Like I was seeing them put like 90%, 95% of energy and effort in, and there was this 5% of them that I was like, what are they doing? Like they're sabotaging themselves. Like why are they standing in their own way? And I won't give the specific examples, but there were very specific ways that I was like, oh, why were you doing that? And I just had this big eye-opening moment of like, I'm keeping my clients small. I'm keeping them from going all in because I'm not even all in on the things that I want to be doing. So how can I expect them to be all in? And so I love being the mirror for what is possible for all of you and for showing you what all in truly looks like. It's terrifying. It is like bearing ourselves to the world saying, hey, this is what I want, this is what I'm going after, and even if I fail, I'm gonna freaking figure it out and make it work, because that's what we do as women, as leaders, as pageant gals. So if you're all along for the ride, grab your emergency drink. We're getting into the good stuff right now. Okay, so like I said, there were really like not three steps, but three processes to this. So really identifying like what the goals that we want are, having certain strategic actions that we're going to take to achieve those goals, and then aligning with the mindset, energy, and identity of the person who already has these things. And there are certain ways that you can do this that are going to lead you to be a little bit more successful when it comes to the timeline. But the biggest thing that I'm going to say is patience, because again, it's so hard to be like, you almost feel like you're walking blinded and you're like, I can't see the path. Like, where is the path? Am I on the path right now? And you really do have to have patience and trust in yourself that you are finding your way and you're making your way. But people don't go forward. They don't take the action towards the goal because it's unknown. And the unknown is scarier than where we're at. We would rather just settle and stay where we're at, even if we're not totally happy, because it's what's known and familiar to us. So just be aware and recognizing those things. So the first thing that I do when it comes to setting goals, and we may or may not go through this together, I might just give you the tool and then let you do it on your own because my voice is slowly straining itself. But the first thing is I identify the goals I want to achieve. And I don't just say like, what do I want to achieve this year? What do I want to achieve in the next 6 months? But I ask myself, if this year or if this next 6 months was so abundant that it completely shocked me with what happened, what would I be surprised to find out was my new reality 6 months from now? Like, do you see the difference in that? It's not just like, what do I want to do? It's like, if this year was so shockingly amazing and fulfilling and adventurous that everything I wanted to have happen and more happened, what would I let myself think was happening on the other end of that? And I just let it flow to me. I just let it flow. So again, some of those things that came were things like, I've entered and won a new pageant. Meanwhile, I thought I was like taking a break from pageantry for a while, but I was like, okay, like I want to win a pageant. I don't know what pageant we're competing in. We're going to compete. Things like, I want to work full-time for myself. I want to be a full-time business owner and entrepreneur. Again, we're not figuring out the how right now. We're letting and trusting that the goals and dreams that are on your heart are going to come to you when you put no limit or constraint on the how. So that's the biggest thing, is don't put constraint on the how. You don't need to know how. The first thing is getting clarity on the vision. And this is something I've been saying to a lot of my clients, like without a vision, the people will perish. So if you don't know where you're stepping towards, and this is great not only for your personal life, but also for pageantry, how on earth are you gonna get there? How are you gonna tell judges where you're headed, where you're leading yourself and other people towards? And so this is really great, like I say, not just for pageants, but for yourself, because when you're a woman who has goals for herself, you're not dependent on a pageant or winning a pageant. You win easier because people don't want someone who only has a pageant going for them. a pageant title holder is a woman who's a leader. Like, she's got other bigger things that she's accomplishing. She doesn't need the win. Nobody wants someone who needs the win. So I love really like seeing women who have other goals for themselves, who it's not just about winning the pageant, because guess what? Then what happens if you don't win? What, you've got nothing going for you? No, you have so many other things. Don't put all your eggs in the pageant basket. Like, the pageant is just one thing that you can do. What are the other things that you would want to accomplish if you allowed yourself to just say, what would I want to happen? If I didn't think about what did my mom want, what did my boyfriend want, what did my friends want? No, what do you want? I feel like we're in the Notebook. What do you want? Figure out what you want first. I feel like the Tylenol is now like kicking in here. So first thing is identify your goals. And again, this is something that I'm doing again this year. And I don't just write out my goals once. Like, whenever I was having a really tough time at work, and tough time just being like I was tired, I didn't know if there would be like an end or a date that I would change, I would just write out a list of my goals. And there are so many. You've probably seen my notebook here. I could flip to at least 10, maybe 20 pages where my goals are just listed out. So I don't just write down my goals once. I'm always thinking about them, always, so that they're always top of mind. So that's the first thing that I do, and then doing for the next 6 months as well. Because again, my goals have shifted. I've achieved a lot of the goals that I wanted. So that's the first part of these 3 parts, right? It was goal, the strategy, and the mindset. And so the strategy comes from like taking actions towards these goals. Now, again, you don't always have to know the how, but this was actually something I learned from a workshop I did at the beginning of this year. What was it called? It was like Unleashing Her Full Potential or something like that. And I've done this in the past. Like, we do this inside of Queen of Your Life. We're actually entering the identity section as well. And so in the strategy, we don't just take any steps or any action. We take what's called aligned action, which is action that it makes more sense when it comes to the goal and the person you want to be. And so there's 2 things that we look at when it comes to strategy and identity. So identity means being the person who achieves these things. And so the first thing is I looked at all of the ways that I was limiting myself. So this is called our limiting identity. So what are the stories, habits, and patterns that are holding you back from having all of your goals right now? And so you have to start thinking, like, what are the things that you do that are essentially standing in your own way? So some of the things that I reflected on at the beginning of this year are that, like, I work way too much. Like, I was working full-time and then like full-time business. I was signing all clients and not really having a process for deciding who I want to work with and who's a fit and who's not a fit in my one-on-one space, because most of you know I don't work with just anyone and everyone. I don't just have a booking link on my website, because I don't want to work with everyone, because that doesn't excite me. I want to work with clients who want to be leaders and who want to make a huge impact in their community. And I knew that if I wasn't, honoring that part of me, it was part of my limiting identity. It was keeping me where I was at. So some other things in my limiting identity were like, I was scrolling, like looking for results or answers on social media. I was always worried about like who is working with me and who wasn't. I was too tired all of the time. I took less action because I was so tired and because I didn't have time. A big thing that I did that limited my identity, at least when it came to the business, was like I get really like consumed with what other coaches are doing. I still get caught up in sometimes comparison and like imposter syndrome, I guess. I don't really like believe in that, but I was always like just focused on what are other people doing? What am I doing? Like, I'm doing things so differently. It was more of that. It was like, I'm so different from all the other coaches. Like, how am I going to make this? How are people going to see what I'm about? And that was really worrying me. And I just realized, like, for all of these things, like not taking care of my health, not going to the gym consistently, all of these things can't come with me. Like, they can't come with me to the next level. Because one thing one of my mentors teaches us is that new level, new devil. When you go to a new level of your life, guess what? There's a whole bunch of other problems that go with this. So I'm not trying to get to my next level, bring all these old problems with me, and then have a whole new set of like thought problems and blocks. Heck no, man. No. So I just realized, what are the things that I want to not be doing? So what did this look like? I got a more specific application process for one-on-one clients. I started planning out the offers I had for the entire year, so that not only was I having like consistent clients, but I was doing work that I love to do in the way that I wanted to do it. I also started planning my workouts in more to go to the gym, planning travels and different things like that. We have like a concert in, when is it, August. We're starting to plan something in November, like just planning more things for me, right? So starting to let go of that limiting identity. I also work with a coach as well, so somebody who can guide me to say, hey, this is like what your path is. Like, I don't need to focus on what everyone else is doing because I have my own strategy in place. So that's the first thing, is really looking at the things that you do that limit your own identity. And this is going to be different for everybody. And yeah, get better problems, Pauline says. Like, that's what I've been saying recently. I had a client recently tell me, she's like, there's this event, I need a black dress, but the one I have is not long, and like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, girl, go get a better problem. Like, go get a new black dress then. Like, I don't care, wear the same dress, don't wear the same dress, but like, go get a different problem. Like, don't, hang out in that. So like, even today I was like, is my problem gonna be that like I'm tired? Is that gonna kill me? No. I was like, we've got bigger problems, bigger fish in the sea. We got women who gotta achieve their goals and wanna know how they do it, and that's what I'm focusing on today. So it's absolutely it. It's just recognizing our own stuck habits and actions. And this might also be the people we spend time with, and really limiting the people we spend time with. And a huge part of this personally was also the people that I work with, because I noticed that it was a different world when I went to work. It was just, people who were in their own way, and that's okay. But I was like, I just can't relate. Like, I'm not trying to relate to this. I'm trying to have something, like, I'm trying to build like an international empire. So like, worrying about, just different things that everyday people worry about, I was like, I just have to start limiting what I listen to or believe other people at work or in my life say. And I'm focused on what I want to be doing and who I want to be being. So that's the first part of the strategy and the identity, is understanding and realizing what you need to stop doing. And I don't mean stop cold turkey, but like what you need to limit doing of your limiting identity. What things can't come with you. And so on the other side of our limiting identity is our expansive identity. So the part of us that like opens us up to what is possible. And I've been sharing this for a while. A lot of this is so inspired by Tony Robbins. Amazing, right? But the strongest force in the human personality is to be consistent with how you label or define yourself. So that means that when you define yourself as being a certain way, the strongest force in our being is to be that person. So what does that look like? Like, how do you, who is the person? What I did is I'm having a brain fart here, but I looked at the goals that I set for myself. So December 2023, these are all the things I'm going to have achieved. Who do I have to be to achieve those things? So what qualities do I have? Is it somebody who's overworking herself? No. Is it somebody who is tired all the time? No. Is it somebody who takes control of her schedule? Yeah. Is it somebody who outsources the things that she's not good at doing? Yeah. Does she take a risk and a leap of faith and leave her job? Yeah. Right? So what are some qualities of the person who achieved and achieves the things that you set out to achieve? What are the qualities? What does that person's daily routine look like? Is it wake up exhausted to your alarm and then be like, okay, I gotta get another day going. You get changed, you don't even eat or take care of yourself. You just go to work, come home, and then you're like, okay, maybe now I'll work on my business or my pageant prep. Or is it somebody who wakes up, maybe to their alarm still, but on their own schedule, and they decide, okay, I'm gonna spend 10 minutes each morning taking care of myself before I go do my work, so on and so forth. What does the day look like of somebody who's achieving the things that you want to achieve? And again, don't stress about, is this going to happen or is it not? Because that was something that's something I know we can get caught up in. It's like, I can say all this, but how do I know what's going to happen? Like, there has to be that internal trust that it's all working out in your favor. Because trust me, there were many days where I was exhausted doing 12-hour shifts, nights, 8-hour shifts, and then coaching and training people, like working more than I ever have. And I was like, I created this web of work. How the heck am I going to get out of it? And I did. And anybody can. So not only just the day, but what routines does this person have? What are they doing each week? So something was, for me, was like, well, I'm hiring an accountant, right? Like I have my taxes sorted. I have bookkeeping each week that I do. I support my clients each week. I know what offers are coming up. I'm someone who goes to the gym each week, who plans out her workouts. I love going outside. I intentionally spend time with family. Last year, or maybe it was like the year before that, I used to not know when holidays were. Like not just like main holidays like Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff, but like other holidays throughout the year. Like, you know how they'll just have like a random holiday or something? I wouldn't know when those were, and I would always be booking clients and trainings and sessions until I was like, Carlos would be like, hey, I'm off this Monday, like what are we doing? And I was like, oh no, I didn't realize it was a holiday. So I was like, am I going to be the person who's like last minute just like overbooking myself, who doesn't know her schedule, or who doesn't know like what, or am I somebody who's going to say, these are the days that I'm working for myself, this is what I'm doing on each day, this is when we're going to have like a fun special offer, you know, like on birthday or like Black Friday, and then these, you know, we're taking every holiday off, not doing work. So again, there was a certain awareness I had to create around my schedule. Who do you spend time with? Who does that version of you spend time with? Who is she consuming content from? Does she consume, you know, trash on the internet, trash TV, which is okay, but like I really had to limit the amount of like trash TV I was watching, or like TV or consuming things that just really didn't benefit me. I still watch some, you know, different shows and things like that, but it was like, who do I want to learn and consume from? Who do I want to spend time around? And again, limiting the people who you take advice from, and being really intentional about the people you get in rooms with. This year, I've spent more time in rooms with millionaires and multimillionaires than I ever have in my life. And let me tell you, that wasn't necessarily my intention, but you realize when you're in a room with like millionaires and multimillionaires, it's a different feeling. You feel really expanded. And I didn't even realize it until I was doing it, that those are just the people I was starting to look up to. It was no longer just like seeing what my friends were doing or anything like that. It was like, how can I get in the rooms of people who do this for a living? Like it's not even a question in their mind. Like they're going for it, they're doing it, it's done. And I got to see how they operate on their daily life and what they're doing. And you bet your bum that it's helped me be who I am today. So who are you getting in the room with? And I know people don't like this. I'm gonna say a lot of controversial stuff today, but like, how can you be an international title holder if like you've never been in the room with international title holders? If you've never like left your hometown? How can you be someone who wins a pageant if you've never been around anybody who's won a pageant before? There's a certain energy, there's a certain mindset and a certain focus, because the people who've already done it know something different about how it goes. So just reminder to yourself, are you putting yourself in the room with people who've already done the things that you want to be doing? So again, thinking about, how does this person move? What actions does she take? How does she feel each day? How does she behave? You almost create your goals. Identify what are you doing right now that is not in service, that's holding you back, and then what does this person look like? If I had to create a day in her life, a week in her life, what is she feeling? What thoughts does she think? Who does she surround herself with? What does she do? What are her routines? What does that look like? And that is your expanded identity. And again, it doesn't mean that you have to be all of these things all at once, but it just means that when you bring awareness to this and when you set it down, like Maria, December 2023, the strongest force in your personality is to now become that person. This is going to change some lives, I'm telling you. And the third part to this, so we had goals, strategy, and the third part is the mindset or the energy. And all three of these are just as important. You can't have one without the other, or you can't have two without the third. There's always going to be like a lapse somewhere. So doing mindset work, which I think is still really new to pageantry, and I really look forward to supporting more women and business owners with this, is daily questioning the thoughts and limitations that tell you you can't get there, like why you can't get there. So asking yourself, like, what are the thoughts that are coming up that tell me I can't have this, right? I don't have enough time. I don't have enough experience. I don't have enough money. They can do it, but I can't. What if I fail? Those are all thoughts that are in your mindset that are not facts. They're not true. And when you actually learn how to reset these thoughts in a way that is in favor and working for you to become this person, you can do it much easier. Thoughts stop people more than any path will. And so one thing that I was challenged by my coach at the beginning of this year to ask myself, because I was constantly going into like 1 week was really good and then 1 week was not so good. And so she had me do a daily challenge. This was back in January. And it was, how am I being prepared to achieve my goal today? How am I being prepared to achieve my goal today? So instead of looking at the things that were not in my favor or looking at where I wasn't how I wanted to be living, it became, like what am I, how is this preparing me for the next step? What am I doing to move forward? How might this be actually in service, whether it's a good day or a bad day? And so what I got to do is like start to be more aware instead of like just letting fear take control of my mind while I was still taking all of these actions. I got to remember that this is all part of me getting to the goal. It wasn't like good week I'm going forward, bad week I'm going backwards. It was all leading me forward. And again, I was able to embrace the entire journey versus just thinking it's all going to be easy. And let me tell you, I don't know how many people I work with, it's like they're great, like, oh, I can win when I have all these things happening, but then it's like, oh, well, I'm having a bad day, I can't win, I suck. That can't happen. That can't happen. It's all going forward. It's not I believe I can win when I'm having a good day, but then when I'm not having a good day, no, I suck. That's not the way you want to be. It's not a fun way to be either. So I started looking at how am I being prepared today to achieve my goal, and allowed me to see what was possible, what was happening for me. So hopefully that's something that you can integrate over the next week. How am I being prepared for my goal? Whatever the goal is, right? I had a very specific goal. You probably have your own. How are you being prepared for it? And always remembering that it's a forward journey. There's no going back. There's no going back to yesterday or going back to last week because last week was such a great week. No, there's none of that. There's only going forward. There's only now and forward. You get to decide how are you being prepared for your ultimate goal, whether it's a national and international title, a job, a person you want in your life, an experience, all of these things. And then the other thing, when it comes to the mindset, I have my notes here. I don't know what I wrote down here. Oh, so I do know what I wrote down. Again, my head's a little bit foggy. So I say that the mindset piece was the hardest thing, but also the biggest thing for me unleashing my goals within 6 months. Because again, a lot of the stuff I set out to do at the beginning of 2023, I've done. And it's June, right? A lot of these things. And I think ultimately, like I said, it was my mindset that was holding me back. I had the physical ability to do everything I wanted to do at the beginning of this year, but it was my mindset and my identity that I needed to align so that I could actually be the person who trusts myself and who's courageous and can do these things. So the thing that I want to share with you here is that the mindset work is so important, whether it's in pageantry, in goals, or in life. It's so important because you can't be a new person, a new positive upgraded person with an old limiting mindset. And so again, I give you one exercise to try. How am I being prepared today? What are the thoughts coming up that tell me that I can't? Well, what's true? Realizing that your thoughts are not facts. These 3 steps changed my life over the last 6 months. And I know I talk about my life changing and big things happening, but I just can't help but feel like this is a completely different Maria. And this is a completely different Maria for all of you too, to show you what's possible. And I think all of you are about to have a really big change in your own life for the next 6 months, because you're not looking at a coach or a mentor who's like 90% in with a 10% out. No, I'm 100% in, and I'm showing you what it looks like to walk in the fear, in the unknown, and say, we're going there. I've got the torch. I'm gonna light the way. Are you coming with us or not? Because we're going. And if fear seems just like, if where you're at right now is like what you're in love with, amazing. How can we make life even better? Because life just always gets to be working for us. So the last part of this is set your 6-month goals. So again, if the next 6 months of 2023 were so soul-shockingly abundant and perfect and amazing, that like you couldn't have even planned it or like thought of it yourself, what would have happened? I'm trying not to get lipstick on my thing here. It's not working out too well. So if it were so abundant, what would happen? And then let yourself dream. Let it all come out. Don't necessarily put like a time limit on it or a how on it, but just let it come out. Then looking at who do you need to be, or sorry, what do you need to let go of that might be holding you back from achieving this dream life in the next 6 months, even if it might be uncomfortable to admit to yourself. So what do you need to let go of in order to be the person who's going to achieve all of these things? Then the third step to this is, what is the person who has this reality doing and being? Like what are her qualities? What are her routines? What are her surroundings like? Who is she learning from? How is she moving each day? And then the fourth part is, how are you being prepared for this? And what mindset shifts do you need to make in order for you to be this person? So you can ask yourself, how am I being prepared to achieve this, to be this person who lives this as her daily life? And that's it. Good days and bad days. All of it. Moving forward. That's the process. Obviously, there's so much to this when it comes to accountability, having a good support system, a community, knowing why you want to do these things and what your goal is moving forward. But I think that this is a really simply broken down way of how I entered this year. And trust me when I tell you that it was not easy the first couple months, feeling like I wanted all of these things and I just felt like I was caging myself in even more. But couple really strong choices and decisions, and I'm really proud of this new path and this life, and to show you all what's happening, and there's so much more that's coming. You always know. If you're feeling optimistic, if you're feeling like you want to be daring and bold, share what your dream is. Share what you are stepping into in the next 6 months in the comments. What's one thing that you want to have be your new reality? One of my goals is that I want to be a title holder. I've been out of a title for just a little bit under a year now, and my goal is to be a title holder again, because I love it. I love the work I get to do. I love who I am. I love who I am right now, but that's one thing, and that's scary, but I'm open with all of you. I want my business to keep growing and thriving. I want to have this like empire of like 500 pageant gals that we're all serving in this one space here. So many amazing things that I have coming up in the next few months, and I want to know what yours are. And if you want to, work together a little bit more closely, if you're really excited about this and you want to have like the best summer ever, the main thing we have that's coming up is Miss Queen of the Screen. This is my virtual charity pageant. A portion of the proceeds will get donated to a charity of choice that I will announce on the final day, which is in August. This is not like a non-compete type of pageant. This is truly if you're wanting to get one, experience in pageantry, and two, if you want to get feedback on your performance so you can improve for what's coming next, and three, if you want the opportunity to receive coaching and prizes and just like an incredible learning experience throughout the summer. This could honestly be like one of my highest ticket programs that I offer, but I want this to be fun and accessible to so many women. We're starting July 1st, so that's going to be this Saturday. Technically, the Voxer will open up next Monday with a 2-month Voxer broadcast chat. So that means that you and only the women inside of Miss Queen of the Screen are going to be in a Voxer broadcast chat, which means that you won't be responding, but I'm going to be sharing weekly inspiration and motivation for you all, behind the scenes things of what I'm doing that nobody else knows, motivation to keep you moving forward towards your goals, and actions to take, mindset shifts to be making as well. So that's going to be an addition to last year's, the previous years, right? This is our 4th year running it. We have a whole new set of trainings that you're going to be receiving just as a delegate, including my Embodying Being the Queen of Your Life worksheet. You're going to get access to the top interview questions and categories that I've created, a video module training all about how to select the perfect pageant heel, along with 2 other group trainings that are going to be happening in August. The only time, ladies, that you need to commit to this competition, like physical time, is on the interview date, which would be maybe no more than 10 minutes on either August 26th or August 27th. So other than that, you just have to submit a headshot, a bio, and be at your interview for your interview and introduction, and you have a chance to win, like, literally, what's the total tally? It's over like $3,000 in prizes. It is honestly insane what we've been able to do this year. We have incredible sponsors. I want to give them a shout out. La Bijou de Vie, who's going to be the sponsor of the $500 scholarship for the winner, also donating a plethora of prizes for each of the 3 winners. We have a Miss Photogenic, Miss Personality, Miss Queen of the Screen. Each of them is going to get La Bijou de Vie makeup products. The winner is going to get a credit to shop on the La Bijou de Vie website. We have Liz Marnock, who is generously allowing our 3 winners to watch her makeup and hair pageant specific training with products and tips, and it's incredible. So you'll be able to have those to watch for your own competition so that you can learn how to do your own pageant hair and makeup. We have my lovely friend Christine Kulig, who's going to be donating some items of a new business venture that she's starting, and Stitching Sunshine is going to be donating a satin scrunchie to each of our winners. I have one, literally, when I tell you, in like every drawer. I keep them everywhere because I just always love putting my hair up when I'm cooking or doing makeup or anything like that. So I have their satin scrunchies everywhere. Plus a ton of prizes that I am putting together in each of the prize packages that have to do with beauty, wellness, self-care, and all of those amazing things. So not only do our 3 winners get amazing prize packages, but there's also several other coaching opportunities. You get a coaching session with me, free access to the next masterclass that we host, which will be towards the end of this year. And then you also get access to my runway program, Strut. So it's a self-study at this point, but you get the opportunity to take it at your own pace and, you know, win your walk with that program. So ton of cash prizes. Even without winning a prize though, you get so much value just from being a delegate, and the price of Miss Queen of the Screen is going up this Saturday. So if you join before this Friday, you save, I believe it's $50, which is still amazing. Why not save a little bit if you already plan on doing it? And the 3-month payment plan option will no longer be available. It'll only be a 2-month payment plan. So if you join before this Saturday, it is 1 payment of $275 Canadian or 3 payments of $100 Canadian. So 2 different options to pay for the pre-sale. Even if you're unsure at this point and you want to sign up later, absolutely. The signups are going to be open until August 18th, I believe. However, if we hit our amount of delegates before then, we will be closing signups, which is definitely a possibility. But if you're interested in joining Miss Queen of the Screen and having an amazing summer, getting more pageant experience and coaching under your belt, please send me a message. You can put Miss Queen of the Screen or just Queen or pageant details, anything like that, and I'm happy to send that over your way. Again, we start next week with our Boxer broadcast chat, but thank you ladies for bearing with me in what I feel like is a scratchy throat. I'm hoping I'm having like my Phoebe sexy voice moment here. It does not sound nor feel sexy, but thank you all for being here with me and for letting me hold myself accountable to doing this. Trust me when I say I'm all good. I'm always going to be all good. But I loved your messages just telling me to get well. And I'm definitely going to take the rest of the day just to chill and rest and relax a little bit more. But I'm so thrilled that I got to share this with you. And again, I always love to know what you're working on and what your goals are and being able to support you. And even if it's not in Miss Queen of the Screen, I know our paths will connect. Once again, we have some exciting things coming out more towards the fall of this year, but always stay tuned. I'm always, making some new concoctions of ways to support my ladies here. But I love you all. Let's go really freaking big this next 6 months and become unrecognizable, okay, to everybody around us. They're not even gonna know what is coming because you are about to all take off. I truly believe that, okay? I love you all. Thanks for being here with me today, and I will see you in the next one.